Welcome back everyone, another edition of Steve Does GIS. This time we're looking at the zonal statistics tool. As you can see before I open that, I've got the good old digital elevation model loaded. I've also calculated slope from that. I've also calculated aspect, and the aspect we've split into east and west facing units using the reclassify tool. Here slopes with areas with a value 0 are flat and have no aspect. Those which have a value of 1 are facing east. Those with a value of 2, this purpley bluey colour, are facing west. I've also extracted from the slope map the units which actually are considered to be fans, those with a slope greater than 1 but less than 10, and I used the set null function in the raster calculator, if you remember, to isolate those. All of the non-fan areas are no data value. And what I've done is I've multiplied these two layers in the raster calculator to, I'll just switch off those layers, make it a little bit clearer, to identify those fans which are facing east, which are the value of 1, and those fans which are facing west, which have a value of 2 and show up in the green colour. Now, the zonal statistics tools lie within the ARC toolbox under spatial analysis tools, under zonal, and here you can see the zonal statistics tool. So I'm going to open that up. Now, we can specify a series of zones for which we wish to calculate statistics from an input value raster. So the first thing we input is the zone data. So here I'm using my east-west fans. So I have two zones here. Zone 1, those fans which are facing east, and Zone 2, those fans which are facing west. And the zone value field we should leave as value. The input value raster is a raster which contains the values on which we wish to calculate the statistics. So I'm going to input my slope data here. So I'm going to calculate zonal statistics for these separate east-west facing fan units based on slope. I'm going to give it an output raster, so I'm going to call that Z mean underscore slope fan east-west. I hope that's enough. Oh, yeah, there we go. I've got far too many letters in there, so I'm going to have to reduce that. So ZM, let's try that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to calculate mean, so the zonal mean of the slope for east-west facing units. As you can see, I have problems making up suitable file names for this, so you do need to remember a little bit of these things. So the mean calculates the average of all of the cell values that belong to the different zones. So here what we're trying to do is calculate the mean slope for east-facing fans and the mean slope for west-facing fans. I'm just going to click OK. And here's our output. Now the output can be a little bit confusing. I'm just going to switch these layers off so we can see what we've got. We've got what seems to be a bit of a mess. Now the problem here is that it thinks it's a continuous variable, when it is indeed a continuous variable because we've got the mean of the slope in each of the units. But just to make this clearer, we can go to the properties, go to symbology, and if we click on unique values and click OK, we can see there are only two unique values here because we've calculated the mean of just two zones, so there are just two unique values. So I'm just going to click on OK there. And now we have it. We can see that the mean of the slope in these east-facing fans, the green ones, is 4.51 roughly degrees, and the mean slope of the west-facing fans is a little higher at 4.77. So there is a difference between the mean slopes. We might also want to go back to the toolbox, and we could calculate a range of different statistics. So we could calculate the majority value, maximum value, median, minimum, minority, range, standard deviation, sum, and variety as well. Variety is an odd one. It just, if we look down the list here, it calculates the number of unique values. And so with a continuous variable like slope, that might not necessarily be a sensible thing to do. But we have a range of options available to us. Okay. The other thing that we can do in the zonal stuff is calculate zonal geometry. So I'm going to input my zone values again, so that's my east-west facing fans. I'm going to create an output raster, so I'm going to call this fan area east-west, so because I've split them east-west. Maybe I ought to put a Z in front of there for zonal fan areas, so I know making sure I know what I'm doing. And the geometry type. Well, we can calculate the area of the fans within the two zones. We can calculate their perimeter, thickness, centroid. We also additionally here have to produce an output cell size, but we'll just leave that as the default. And here I'm going to click on OK. And again, another one of these continuous data layers, which doesn't really make a lot of sense until we go to symbology, click unique values. OK, so that's the total area of east-facing fans and the total area of west-facing fans based on that zonal geometry calculation. There we have it. Thanks for listening.